very good morning to each and everyone watching Mama Gregosawa Television. Thank you for being with us. You're going to be with me, Kamika Gisle. Now let's kick off with the news headlines. Prime Minister Nsengiyumva urges Africa-led development. 160 Rwandan police officers deployed to South Sudan under United Nations MISS. On the international news, mass shooting in British Columbia leaves 10 dead and dozens wounded. Now let's take a short break to be back on the news details. Welcome back. Let's start in Rwanda. Prime Minister Nsengiyumva has urged African nations to take the lead in shaping and financing their own development agenda, emphasizing self-reliance and homegrown solutions in the face of global uncertainty. Speaking virtually at the 43rd session of the African Union Development Agency New Partnership for Africa's Development, Head of State and Government Orientation Committee on Tuesday, Nsengiyumva said the continent must drive its development priorities rather than depend heavily on external assistance. Representing President Paul Kagame, he highlighted that while international partnerships remain variable, they should complement, not overshadow, African contributions. Nsengiyumva praised efforts to strengthen Africa's financial independence, including initiatives to build resilience, domestic institutions, and diversify funding sources. The Prime Minister also welcomed progress in regional health financing and innovations in healthcare systems. He said building a sustainable Africa-led development framework is essential for realizing the objective of Agenda 2063 and fostering long-term socio-economic transformation across the continent. Moving ahead, Rwanda's Minister of National Unity and Civic Responsibility, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, has criticized educated Rwandans for contributing to the decline of the Kinyarwanda language by mixing it with foreign languages. Speaking on Tuesday to secondary school students participating in the National Kinyarwanda competition, Dr. Bizimana said the language is not being undermined by the uneducated, by elites who believe using foreign languages enhances their status. He stressed that educated people, including leaders and celebrities, should serve as role models in preserving Rwanda's linguistic and cultural heritage. The minister urged students to promote proper Kinyarwanda in their schools and families, encouraging parents who may not speak it frequently to learn and use it. Dr. Nelson Barishimana, Director General of the Rwanda Basic Education Authority, reaffirmed the institution's commitment to supporting programs that promote Rwandan language and values. In the competition, Nsengiyumva scored 90%, defeating Kagarama Secondary School's 70%. The national finals are scheduled for May 2026. Now turning to the next story, a contingent of 160 Rwandan National Police officers is set to depart for Juba, South Sudan to serve under the United Nations mission in South Sudan, replacing colleagues who have completed a one-year tour on duty. The new GWA FPU 38, led by Senior Superintendent of Police Dativa Iribagiza, was officially awarded medals on Tuesday by the Deputy Inspector General Police in charge of Operation DIGP Vincent Sano. They will take over GWA FPU 37, which successfully carried out its mandate of protecting war-displaced civilians, UN personnel and other international agencies operating in South Sudan. DIGP Sano urged the officers to apply their training with professionalism, discipline, and teamwork, emphasizing respect, leadership, and proper management of equipment. He also cautioned them against distractions such as unnecessary social media use. Now let's take a short break to be back on the international news. Welcome back. On the international news, a school shooting in Tambla, Leeds, British Columbia, has left at least 8 people dead, including the suspected shooter, and more than 25 wounded.
The international news, they said in Africa, where Zimbabwe's cabinet has approved a draft constitution amendment bill that, if passed by parliament, would let President Emerson Mnangagwa stay in power until 2030. The plan would extend presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 and shift the way presidents are chosen, replacing direct elections with selection by parliament. Justice Minister Ziambi say the bill will be sent to the parliamentary speaker and published before lawmakers debate it. Mnangagwa, 83 years old, came to power after a 2017 military-backed takeover and is currently set to leave office in 2028 after 5 years term. Critics, including opposition figures and civil society groups, say changing the laws for an incubate amount to under diplomatic power grabbing and should require a referendum and wide public consent. They are preparing legal challenges and urging regional and international scrutiny, while the ruling ZANU-PF party, with a strong parliamentary majority, pushes the amendment forward. Proceeding on international news, a mass shooting at Tumblr Secondary School in British Columbia has left at least 10 people dead and more than 35 injured, Canadian authorities said Tuesday. Police reported that 8 people, including the suspected shooter, were found dead at the school. Two additional victims were discovered at a nearby home believed to be connected to the attack. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say the suspected shooter, believed to be a woman, was found dead with what appears to be self-inflicted injury. Investigators have identified the suspect but have not released a name, and the motive remains unclear. Two victims were airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries, while others were treated for various ones. The small town of Trembler, Leeds, home to about 2,400 residents, is located more than 1,000 kilometers north of Vancouver. Prime Minister Mark Carney said he was devastated by the tragedy. School shootings are rare in Canada, making this the country's deadliest attack since 2020. Concluding our international news, India has tightened its control of online content by requiring social media companies to remove unlawful posts within 3 hours of receiving government notice. The new law announced on Tuesday amends the country's 2021 IT regulation and will take effect on February 20. It replaces the previous 36-hour deadline, creating a major compliance challenge for platforms such as Meta, YouTube, and X. The government did not explain the reason for shortening the timeline. Legal experts and digital rights advocates say the 3 hour window is impractical and risks forcing companies to remove content without proper review. India, which has more than 1 billion internet users, has already issued thousands of takedowns orders in recent years, citing concerns such as national security and public order. The revised law also is an area proposal on labeling AI generated content, now requiring such material to be prominently labeled rather than marked across a fixed portion of posts. Critics warn the changes may increase censorship concerns. This is the end of our international news. This is Mama Sabo Television.
As we come to the end of our news edition, let's remind you of the top stories that we talked about. Prime Minister Nsengiyumva addressed Africa-led development. 160 Rwandan police officers deployed to South Sudan under UN MISS. On the international news, mass shooting in British Columbia leaves 10 dead and dozens wounded. And this marks the end. Stay tuned.